Hi, this is Mark Wiltshire. Thanks for joining me for another episode of the Explore Finland radio show. This week's episode is all about Finnish food, and as we're close up against Christmas now, that seems like a perfect opportunity. I speak to my new friend Miia Keski-Nikkola, who is the part owner of Restauranteur here in Seinäjoki. She took some time to talk to me about traditional Finnish food, some unusual things that pass for everyday fare over here in Finland. And then we ended the episode by talking about Christmas food. And so I saved it until this week because Christmas is basically next week from when I'm publishing this podcast. One thing I talked to Miia about during the interview was how Jurella is one of the best restaurants here in Seinäjoki. And a couple of months later, they were awarded the 4th place in a readers' poll for Glorian Ruoka and Viini, so Gloria Food and Wine magazine. And from all the votes cast for all the restaurants around Finland, Jurella was awarded 4th best restaurant. So I definitely picked the right person. Congratulations to Miia and to her business partner Jani. I'll stop now, head over to my interview with Miia, which was recorded a couple of months before Christmas 2015. Today I'm sitting down with Miia Keski-Nikkola, who's agreed to talk to me about Finnish food. She's the perfect person to speak to because she's the part owner of perhaps the best restaurant here in Seinäjoki and has been that way for several years now. And she's Restauranteur. How's my pronunciation?
It's good.
Okay. Miia, thank you for joining me
today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The reason I wanted to talk about Finnish food is because I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there. When I tell people I live in Finland, one of the first questions they say is, do you eat a lot of fish?
Really?
Yeah, people think that Finland is, I think, pickled herrings and maybe dark bread. Yeah. Maybe those are the preconceptions that people have.
Yeah.
It's not true though, is it?
Dark bread is true.
Yeah.
I think so. Because it's on our food table every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know fish. I don't know because there is no lake. No sea. There is much of lakes, but our fishermen, there is no any. And I think it's the men's hobby to fish.
Yes.
But I don't know, we don't eat it every day.
No, and I think maybe if you live in a coastal town, then maybe it's different. Maybe you get fresh fish near the harbour. But we're in Etelä-Pohjanmaa. I'm sure the people listening are used to hearing me say Etelä-Pohjanmaa, South Ostrobotnia. That's the translation into English. And you're right, we don't have a sea near here. We're inland and there are lakes, but it's not a huge fish eating area.
Yeah.
But this area kind of traditionally has an agricultural history.
Yeah.
So what kind of foodstuffs are you more likely to find here in Etelä-Pohjanmaa?
Yeah. I'm a farmer's daughter.
Okay. Even better. I didn't know that before we spoke.
Yeah, and my father, he was... Just a moment. In our home, we have fields, about 20 hectares, and pigs.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think the pork is the main meat here in this area.
Okay.
I think it's so, and of course beef and chicken. But I think the pork is the meat of this area.
Yeah, and that's probably reflected in the fact that there's the large meat processing factory. Atria is one of the big meat manufacturers in Finland, and they have a large factory not far away from here, so that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's this region, that's the kind of food production. Is that similar for the rest of Finland? Are they the 3 kind of main meats that people eat around it?
I don't know. I have lived here all my life. Yeah. But I think if I remember what I used to when I was a child and when I was at home, living at my home and my mom was cooking, every day we had potatoes and of course pork, because
it was there.
Yeah, it was with us, and vegetables, not really. Maybe carrots, Swedish turnip, or something like that, and lots of berries. We made every dinner we have dessert. I don't know what's the English word, kisseli.
Yeah, it's kind of it's somewhere between juice and between juice. It's like a very thick juice, isn't it? Yeah, it's not solid, but it's not liquid either. It's somewhere in between the two.
But sweet.
Yes.
Yeah, made from berries, blueberries, red currants, black currants, and everything like that. My father is doing lots of picking the berries of the forest, and he's living now by that. He likes it very much.
It's something that I've discovered recently as well. I've been out. There's a small patch of woods near where I live, and at different times through the year, different things suddenly pop up, and I've discovered this hobby of going out and collecting them. And there's something peaceful about being out in the woods and just collecting your own food, and then you go home, and every time you eat it, you think, I did this. Yeah. I got these.
Yeah. And that's the thing we should be more into, because the world is going that way, that we have to look the ingredients ourselves. I think so.
Yeah. Back in, it was actually the first episode of this podcast, episode number 1. I went with my friend Mari. We went into the woods looking for mushrooms, and that was one of the first times I'd been out collecting food in the woods. But we also talked about every man's rights, and the fact that anyone can go into pretty much any of the woodlands and collect the fruit and mushrooms and things that are growing there.
Yeah. And this summer and last summer I have been working with wild herbs.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not good at it. No.
You're not
I'm just learning.
Okay.
Just learning. Picking some. I don't know what's the pihlajanmarja. It's now outside.
I don't know, but I have show notes for each episode. So afterwards we can get out our translators and find out what it was and put it in the notes.
Yeah, and I say it in Finnish. It's voikukka, mesiangervo, horsma.
Okay.
These kind of things I've been working with this summer.
It's interesting. I haven't even started thinking about herbs yet. I'm still getting my head around lingonberries and blueberries, and last week I stumbled across a bush of wild raspberries, which was a nice surprise.
And the Finnish rhubarb is excellent.
Yeah.
At the springtime.
And I think that I haven't seen it wild, but we have some growing in our garden.
Yeah.
The rhubarb.
Yeah.
And it seems to come so big that you could be eating and drinking this stuff for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
As well as the wild berries. What other? And you mentioned potatoes and carrots. What about nowadays? Has the everyday meals, the everyday food ingredients changed very much?
Maybe the potatoes are less at the dinners because of the diets too. Yeah. And I think the vegetable and some green vegetables are popular. Okay. I think. And this morning I was watching television, morning TV, and they were saying that Finnish people eat how many kilos was it? Minced meat. Okay.
Yeah, hands up. I think we eat quite a lot of mincemeat in our house as well.
Yeah, but it's easy.
Yes, that's
because
true.
you are busy, and when you come home from work and your children are hungry, and what's the faster way to maybe pasta and minced meat or something like that?
It's also something you can make. And make a meal that lasts for 2 days, so you use it again the second day, and that eases a lot.
You can do casserole and something like that.
Do you think that there's more international food and vegetables and things available nowadays?
Yeah, there is. I don't remember at home about 15 or 10 years ago that we have so much green lettuce.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and things like that.
Yeah.
They are coming from the world, and then we are starting to grow them here ourselves.
That's true. You see very large, like we call them greenhouses, but the big for growing these kind of vegetables through the year. Especially, in Finland in the winter when it can easily get down to -20, -25. You need somewhere to keep that production going.
And maybe 15 years ago there was one tomato,
okay.
the red tomato, and now there's a yellow tomatoes and cherry tomatoes and plums tomatoes, everything.
Okay, that's interesting. As the world gets more international, more of these things are coming over here. Since I've been here, I can think of 2 or 3 unusual food types. Can you even begin to explain to people listening here what is mammi?
Oh my God!
Yeah, exactly. Why don't you? Can you explain what it's made of, and then we can perhaps.
It's made from rye. Rye flours.
Okay.
It's like a porridge.
It's kind of, isn't it?
Yeah. You mix porridge and you boil them several hours, and then you do like porridge casserole from it. You put it in an oven.
Okay, so you kind of bake it afterwards. Okay.
Yeah. But I don't like it.
So let's describe how this thing looks. It looks black. It is like a porridge. That's quite a good. A rye porridge is a good description. That's the best way anyone's ever described it to me before. And it's black, and it actually looks like a tub of tar.
Yeah.
But it tastes quite like yeast. It has a yeasty flavour.
Yeah, and maybe a little bit sour.
Yes.
Yeah. It's strange, and you mixed with milk or cream.
See, this is the thing. It took me so many years to even go near mammi. I just ran away because it looked too much like licorice, and I don't like licorice. And then one year someone said, well, you drink beer. It kind of has that same sort of taste.
Maybe. And a stout beer.
That's right.
Yeah, strong stout beer.
That bitter aftertaste, that yeasty flavour.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I was converted, and now I do like to eat mammi.
A little bit cream and sugar.
Yeah, exactly, which, is not the most healthy of...
but Finns eat it in Easter time.
That's right.
Yeah. In the spring.
It's a traditional Easter dish.
Yeah.
And what about this salmiakki?
I like it very much. I think every Finnish person likes salmiakki. Yeah.
Salmiakki is salty licorice. I don't know why anyone decided that licorice and salt go together, but it's huge over here.
Yeah. Now we have in restaurant dessert made from there is a salt licorice ice cream.
Okay, yeah.
And blueberries and blueberry cake. They are all together.
The blueberries and the blueberry cake sounds lovely, but then why would you spoil it by putting the salty licorice flavoured ice cream on top? I just can't. I can't do it. I think though that nowadays you see more and more different types of chocolate coming with salt and with savoury biscuit in there. So maybe Finland was just several years ahead of the rest of the world.
Yeah, maybe.
What other have you ever had anyone else tell you that there's a particular dish that they find really unusual?
Unusual. I don't remember. Maybe in Osterbothnia we have a thing called kropsu, pancake.
Okay. Yeah.
Made in oven.
Yes.
It's a very old recipe. You do it like a. How do you say? Pancakes.
Yeah,
in frying pan, but you put it in oven.
Yes.
It's very. I think it's
centimeter
thick. Yeah, 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And with that you eat strawberry jam or raspberry jam.
Yeah. No,
And whipped cream.
I've had it before, and a friend of mine made it for me a few weeks ago. And her recipe was somehow different from everything I'd ever had before, so I don't know what she did, but Päivi, you did a good job with that one. I'm coming back. The other thing that I remember from one of my first visits to Finland was voileipäkakku. And
Yeah.
Can you describe that?
I think it's coming from Sweden.
Okay.
Because
right.
they have smörgåsar.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And in Finland we make this cake. It's dark or wheat bread, sliced, and you fill in like any other birthday cake, but you made it salty.
Yeah.
Mayonnaise, shrimps, ham, tomato, and cucumber. I don't know. You can fill it whatever you like.
Yeah, salmon was the recipe that I had, and it looked like a normal cake.
Yeah.
As you say, but then you cut into it, and the layers are bread, and there's dill and salmon and whipped savoury cream, and it's something I like. And one of my colleagues made it here in the summer, and it was great. But that's certainly one of the more unusual.
Yeah, and it's usually served in family parties. Yeah. You have to be something sweet and something salty.
But both of them can look like a cake.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
In Finland, they probably prefer it if all food looks like cakes. I did an interview recently about Finnish ice cream.
Yeah.
And I learned after that, doing a little bit of research, that on average, Finnish people eat 17 litres of ice cream each per year. And it doesn't surprise me. And therefore, having everything that looks like a cake, even if it's not a cake, I think they'll go for that.
Yeah. Have you tried ever oven baked ice cream?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I remember just now. I remembered my mum used to do. You have an ice cream package, and then you put a liter for ice cream, and you whip it. Valkuainen, kananmunan valkuainen.
Egg whites.
Egg whites. Yeah. You whip it them and put over the ice cream, and then in oven.
Is that baked Alaska? Is that kind of dessert? Yeah. No, I've never had it. How does it work? What happens to it when it's cooked?
It's little bit brown from above, but under the ice cream is still gold.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We should try it someday.
Yeah, I think so. I think I will. I'll look out the recipe.
Yeah.
The other day, I bought too many bananas. And when they go anything past yellow, first few brown dots, and the rest of the family will refuse to eat them. I know that's when they're at their best.
Yeah.
They won't listen to me. And we had about 7 left over, so we used some of them to make a banana cake. And I did it with my son, Olli. He had nothing to do, so he said, I'll help with the cake. And it was the most amazing cake. We put too much banana in, which just made the inside really soft. Really, really nice. So I quite like that idea of using the things that you no one wants to eat anymore and finding another way to eat them. So, you've mentioned just now, you referred to your restaurant, Ravintola Juurella. What's the restaurant all about? I said at the beginning it's the best restaurant in Seinäjoki. I'll say it again.
Thank you for that.
And I've been lucky enough to eat food from your place, I don't know, 4 or 5 times at different occasions. I'm not sure. I think once you put this licorice ice cream in front of me, and I ate everything else and left that to one side. So that I just couldn't do it. But I still have good memories, even so, of coming to the restaurant. Why don't you talk a little bit about what the restaurant is, what's the ethos behind the restaurant, and what it's all about?
Our kitchen boys are very good. and we have one girl, Annika. But we do our food from Finnish ingredients.
Okay. Yeah.
We use everything from Finland and especially from this area. The meat comes. Every meat comes from this area.
Okay.
The beef or pork or we don't do chicken. I don't remember that we have been in menu for chicken, but pork or beef. And maybe the old dishes and old, how do you say, what you have been eating at home, but we do it new way.
Yes. Okay.
I think that's the idea. And it should be good and honest food. And the ingredients should taste just what they are. We use salt and black pepper.
That's the only kind of seasoning.
Yeah, I think mainly so. And also the service. It's have to be good. Because nowadays when people are very busy and they eat home, like we said, we come from work and children are hungry, and then all the hobbies that we have to go.
True. Yeah. The after school hobbies are there's so many every day of the week.
Yeah. How often your family is doing dinner together? Together?
We try to eat together as often as possible. Even around the hobbies, we try and arrange it so that we're all there together. But sometimes there's 4 of us in my family. Yeah. Sometimes we'll do 2 and 2. You're right, because everybody's doing different things nowadays. Having, even if it's just 10 minutes together, is quite important. And I think we're lucky in a way in Finland that the working day finishes at 4. Everybody can go home and eat together some of the time. When I worked in the UK, that just wasn't possible. No, I used to get home at 7:30 in the evening, by which time, when the kids were small, they were going to bed.
I think you are lucky if you are doing that so many times in weeks.
Yeah, maybe we are. Yeah. We both, me and my wife, work here in Seinäjoki, and we live 5 kilometres away. The kids are only half a kilometre from school, so we can get back there. But sometimes it's a very quick dinner. But I think you're right. That coming back to you were saying about the service at the restaurant. Yeah,
it's very important because nowadays the people are doing the dinner so often at home at your work, and when they are coming to our place, I have this image that every day that they come to the restaurant, I'm thinking that they are coming to my home.
Yeah, okay, that's nice.
Yeah, I would like to create the atmosphere that they are at home, somebody's home, and they are doing the, how do you say it? Have a good time.
Yeah.
With the good food and with a lovely person. And doing chat.
Yeah, and I think that's been my experience. And being one of the best restaurants around here, it's not cheap. So you don't go there every week. You go there for a special occasion. And therefore, if you go there for a special occasion and the people working there take care of you, then that makes it special. And that's the whole point, I guess. I like the idea also that the food is all locally sourced. You're not out in the woods picking berries and wild herbs to use in the restaurant, are you?
Yeah.
You are? Okay.
Yeah. And our customers and our family brings berries and mushrooms and everything to us. Yeah. It's very lovely.
That's nice.
I don't have much of time to go into forest.
Yeah.
It's maybe on Sunday. That's my day off. But mainly the customers and our family is bringing the berries, and now I think 2 weeks ahead we are getting a lot of mushrooms.
Well, I was just thinking back to that first episode where I went out and collected mushrooms, and I think we did it in October.
Yeah.
So, and we were looking for the Supilovavara mushrooms, and I'm looking forward to getting those again this year.
Yeah.
And maybe getting some more. I did okay last year. I made a cheese flan, piirakka.
Yeah.
And it was really nice.
Good.
And nobody in my family wanted to eat it, so I got to eat the whole thing.
All yourself.
Yeah. So, but this year I would like some more.
Yeah.
And Murray, who took me out last time, she has a vegetarian husband, so she's quite good at knowing how to use these things. So I'll be asking her for some tips.
And the mushroom, you can also pickle them.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Water. Something etikka.
Yeah. Vinegar.
Vinegar and sugar. And you boil them and then pour to the mushrooms. Pickled mushrooms.
Why not? Why not? I know Murray has talked about kind of quick fry and then freeze them.
Yeah.
But if I get enough, I'll try a little bit of everything, and then I can see which one works best. We've already been talking about food for about 25 minutes, and the time has just flown past. And I get the feeling that as we get warmed up, we could probably sit here talking about food all afternoon. That would be fun. Yeah. But we both have jobs to go to.
Yeah, of course.
I'm thinking that this episode will come out December time.
Okay.
So perhaps you could just talk a little bit about traditional Christmas dinner. I wrote a blog post last year talking about my Christmas dinner last year with my wife's family.
What did you eat? Do you remember?
Yeah, I think last year it was the traditional roast pork.
Yeah.
And these many different laatikko dishes. But maybe you could explain what some of these traditions are. What do people traditionally eat at that time?
Yeah, as you said, roasted pork. Nowadays maybe also turkey.
Not in our family, but when I cook Christmas dinner, I find a turkey because that's the English side of our family.
Yeah. And the casseroles, as you said, made from liver and carrots and Swedish turnip.
Not all together. These are separate
casseroles.
dishes.
Yeah, separate casseroles. and there, in my Christmas dinner, there is also rosolli.
Okay.
It's a salad made from beetroot, onion, apple, and carrots.
Okay.
And some put it you put it there a little bit herring.
Yes. Okay.
Also.
Yeah.
That's and then with that you have whipped cream, which is pink.
Yes. Because of the beetroot.
Yeah. That's the one thing I always have rosolli. And then there is a salted fish. Yeah. Salmon or white fish.
Yeah.
I think.
But salted or smoked?
I like salted.
Okay.
But smoked also.
So how would you prepare the smoked? How would you prepare the salted fish? What do you do to?
2 or 3 days ahead, I take a fish and the fillet. I put the salt and a little bit sugar.
Okay. Yeah.
And then grab it and put it on hold.
Just in the fridge. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. 2 days most. Not 1 day is enough. It's like, how do you like it? Very salty or light salted? And
that's what it does. It just adds that salty flavour. When you eat it, do you leave the salt on there or do you rinse it?
Yeah.
You rinse it.
Rinse it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then sliced, a thin sliced, and then with rye bread. It's quite good.
And we're back to that traditional Finnish rye bread.
Yeah.
And actually, I guess that is also something that's a little bit unusual. The very hard rye bread. I remember this, what is it, Tatu and Patu books. Yeah. I bought 1 or 2 of these books in English for my nieces and nephews back in the UK. But I remember there's one, one book where they're explaining life in Finland, and they're talking about this young 2-year-old boy eating this very hard rye bread. And my wife eats it, this jälkiuunileipä.
Yeah.
For me, it's just a bit too much like hard work. I don't think that eating a piece of bread should be quite such a challenge as that.
But life is. Do you remember the one advertising when there was a little boy eating the jälkiuunileipä, and he was getting not a piece of it.
Right. Okay.
And his father came to from the door outside, and he said, "Elämä on kovaa."
Okay.
When he was biting the bread.
Life is
hard.
Yeah. Okay. But and I guess also that has its history back in the days when bread was made this round shape with the hole in the middle, and then it would be hung up to dry, basically.
Yeah.
And eaten as crisp bread.
Yeah, crisp bread.
I remember going to a museum just here in Seinäjoki, and they had the manor house.
Yeah.
And in there, in the kitchen, there were these wooden poles with the bread hanging.
Yeah.
That's how they preserved it.
Yeah.
In those days, I guess.
Not long ago. It was 20 years ago.
Okay.
I remember our neighbour. There was a bread from the ceiling.
And that was where it was kept. Just stayed there until you wanted to eat it.
Yeah.
Nowadays we find it wrapped in a plastic bag in the supermarket.
And it should be soft.
Yeah, exactly. I prefer it soft. But maybe that just shows the difference between a real Finn and this newcomer.
Yeah.
I as I say, I could carry on chatting about food all day, but we've been talking a while now, and I hope we've given people listening just a bit of an idea what they might get from Finnish food, and certainly an idea of what they might find when they come to Ravintola Juorella. Maybe you want to just let people know how they can find out more about your restaurant, website or something like that.
Yeah, we have website juorella.fi.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll put the link on the show notes, but it's www.juurella.com.
Fi.
.fi. Okay.
Fi. Yeah.
Juorella.fi. So by all means, head over there, have a look at what they're doing, and have a look at the show notes. I'm sure we can get some pictures on there of some of the things that we've been talking about today as well. So, Miia, one more time, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you. It's lovely. Very lovely.
Yeah, and for me too. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So thanks to Miia for taking time to speak to me about some of the weird and wonderful aspects of Finnish food. And if you're curious as to what some of these things look like, and I think mammi and voileipäkakku, certainly, difficult to imagine. If you head over to the show notes on my website, explorefinlandpodcast.com, you'll be able to see some pictures of some of the food that we talked about today. Just wanted to say thanks to a few people who have recently started following the show on Facebook. So if you hear your name now, it's probably you, if you liked me recently. So thanks to Päivi, to Sammy, David and Richard. There's a couple of people from Finland, a couple of people from the UK, and also to Bob. Bob got in contact with the show, asked me if I could help him try and connect with somebody. I don't know if you managed to resolve that, Bob, but I hope you're making some progress. So let us know if you do manage to track down your friend. I'm not able to offer a service of helping disconnected old friends to some kind of reunion, but I did have a way that Bob might be able to start that search. So good luck with that. Remember, you can also follow the show outside of listening to the podcast on Facebook, of course, on Twitter, on Instagram, and also on Google+. Or if you go over to the website address, explorefinlandpodcast.com, you can actually follow the show directly from my website, and every time I publish something new, then you'll get updated. One other thing, just quickly to mention, is it's kind of a sister show now to Explore Finland radio show. At the moment, it's a monthly offering. It's called the Finnish Football Show. So if you've enjoyed some of the previous episodes about Asjiko, Apollo, FC, or just about sport in general over in Finland, then that gets it's focused very much on football from Finland, whether it's the Veikkausliiga in the first episode or the Finnish national team in the second episode. It's quite niche. It gets a bit geeky, but if you like football and you think you might be interested in Finnish football, then head over there and hear what we're talking about. It's not just me. I'm far from an expert on Finnish football, but I've hooked up with a couple of other English guys who have this interest in Finnish football. There's Rich from escapetosuomi.com and there's Mark from fcsuomi.com, a couple of blogs and fan sites about Finnish football, and we get together once a month and have a bit of a chat. If you head over to explorefinlandpodcast.com, have a look at the menu and you'll see a menu entry there for the Finnish Football Show. Click on that and you'll find the shows, and you'll also find a little bit more information, what it's all about, and actually how you can hear it being recorded live as well. So it's a bit different from Explore Finland radio show, and if you're interested, head over there. And if you do head over there, then let me know that you heard about it on here. That'd be good to know. So I think that's pretty much it for this week. Thanks for listening. I'll be taking a week or two off over the Christmas period, but we'll be back with some new shows in January 2016. So until then, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.